41 Chapter 41 The Path to University. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 41 The Path to University.lu had no idea what the doctors were talking about. He had never heard his aunt mention that she possessed a bloodline, not to mention what this bloodline was. However, since the doctors said this bloodline contained a terrifying power, it shouldn't be too bad. Of course, the most important thing was that this bloodline had the possibility of fusing with him. When the time comes, he might be able to obtain some kind of powerful ability. Then when can the surgery begin? Lu Yu asked. He didn't want to wait anymore. His aunt had been suffering from this pain for far too long, and he didn't want to see his aunt suffer from this pain any longer. The attending doctor stood up and said solemnly, "We can't be sure about the exact date of the surgery. We have only come up with a temporary plan for the treatment, so we still need to make preparations for the specific implementation. We need some surgical supplies to increase the chances of success of this surgery. We will gather these supplies as soon as possible. Please rest assured. Once they are ready, we will contact you immediately and start the surgery." Lu Yu nodded slightly. "Alright, then I will hand her over to you." The hospital's director stood up and looked at Lu Yu. "Don't worry. We represent the best hospital in the country. We'll definitely be able to cure your aunt's illness." After saying that, he picked up a package beside the table. "Lu Yu, Clannorth University heard that you were coming here today. Thus, they sent the acceptance letter over in advance. Open it and take a look." As he said that, the director handed the package to Lu Yu. After reaching out to take it, Lu Yu carefully opened the package and took out the beautifully made acceptance letter. On the cover were printed the gates of Clannorth University. There was only one page to the acceptance letter, but it felt heavy in his hands. Everyone turned their gaze and looked over. As top-notch doctors, they had seen a lot. But this was the first time they had seen an acceptance letter from Clannorth University. Lu Yu gently opened the acceptance letter under everyone's gaze. As Lu Yu opened the notice, an origami folded paper inside stood up. When he completely opened the notice, the paper-made gates of Clannorth University stood upright and vivid. Looking on the letter, everyone looked over curiously. They could only find videos on the internet of what the acceptance letter from Clannorth University looked like. However, when they saw it with their own eyes, they still sighed at the exquisite workmanship of the letter. At that moment, a ray of light flashed and was projected into the air. Immediately after, a screen of light appeared. The holographic screen showed an old man. The old man looked at Lu Yu and said slowly, "I am the principal of Clannorth University. Welcome to the big family of Clannorth University. The future belongs to you, young people." The scene ended, and the light faded. However, the doctors beside them were excited when they saw this. The principal of Clannorth University recorded the welcome video personally. "It's such an honor. I envy Lu Yu. To be able to enter Clannorth University, his future cannot be underestimated. Isn't that nonsense? Did anyone who entered Clannorth University turn out to be an ordinary person? Sigh, if I had worked harder back then, I would probably have received a welcome from the principal of Clannorth University as well." Everyone looked at Lu Yu with envious eyes. Then, they sighed enviously. Lu Yu closed the acceptance letter from Clannorth University and stood up to look at them. "Then I'll be leaving first. It's time to report to the university." The director stood up to send him off. "Alright then. As soon as there's any news from your aunt, I'll contact you immediately." Lu Yu walked out of the hospital under the director's respectful escort. He came to the roadside and stopped a taxi. After getting into the vehicle, Lu Yu said, "Sir, to Clannorth University, please." The driver looked at Lu Yu in surprise. "You're a student at Clannorth University?" Lu Yu nodded slightly. "I'm sure lucky today to drive a top student there." The driver stepped on the accelerator excitedly. The car drove out and headed in the direction of Clannorth University. The location of the university was not inside the city. It was far away, at the edge of the city. There was a long distance from here to there. The car soon drove out of the city and along a rural, suburban road. The car stopped before a checkpoint, and they got off for inspection. After Lu Yu got off the car, he saw a sign not far away that said Clannorth Road. Lu Yu knew this road only led to one place, Clannorth University. At that moment, a man who was guarding the station walked over. "Hello, please show your student ID, work ID, or teacher ID from Clannorth University. Otherwise, you can't enter." Lu Yu shook his head. "I don't have any of these." The driver next to him frowned. "What? I thought you were a student there." Lu Yu then took out the admission letter. The driver's eyes widened. "Oh right. I made a mistake, my friend. When you become a big shot in the future, don't hold a grudge against me." The students of Clannorth University were greatly respected in the outside world. This was because, as long as the students graduated, they would all belong to the upper class of society. The man guarding the entrance took the admission letter and checked for its authenticity before nodding his head. "It's a real one. However, there is a rule for new students to go to Clannorth University. The rule is that they must walk through Braveheart Canyon." When the taxi driver heard this, he was filled with sadness. Lu Yu looked into the distance and saw the canyon far away. It was apparent enough that the canyon must be extremely dangerous. An ordinary person would not be able to pass through it. However, there was no way that Lu Yu would turn around. He readily agreed. "No problem. I will walk there." The guard nodded and opened the gates. Lu Yu walked through the gates, and from here, he had to travel on foot. Behind him was the bustling and beautiful Ixtale. In front of him was a large barren area with wild beasts roaming about and danger lurking everywhere. Lu Yu was not afraid at all. He trekked forward quickly. It was evident that this was a test before he could enter the school. If he could not even pass this test, he would have to bid farewell to the #1 university in the country. 3 figures were moving quickly on the plain as Lu Yu moved forward. Not far ahead, the 3 of them were dressed in white cotton clothes. On the cotton clothes, there were exquisite and artistic gilt patterns. The weapons in their hands were all inlaid with pure gemstones of various colors. Looking at these 3, anyone could tell they weren't ordinary people. In this desolate and lonely plain, there were only 3 people besides Lu Yu. Lu Yu's progress was quick. It would not be long before he could catch up with the 3 people. Among the 3 people, the leader was a young girl. The young girl had a long ponytail that reached her waist, dancing in the wind. On her stunning petite face, there was clean and minimal makeup. Her every movement exuded an elegant aura. With just a glance, one could tell that she was definitely the daughter of a wealthy family. 42 Chapter 42 Encounter Secret Realm, 4th Person, Lu Yu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 42 Encounter Secret Realm, 4th Person, Lu Yu. Far away from Ixtale, a group of 3 people were advancing by foot on a desolate plain. In the middle of the 3 was a young girl. From her makeup and her movements, it could be seen that she came from an impressive background. It was very likely that she was the young lady of a large family clan. As for the 2 people beside her, one of them was an old man with white hair and a beard, the other was a young woman. She was dressed rather plainly and held a short sword in her hand as she looked around vigilantly. From the looks of it, she should be the maid to the young lady, someone in charge of protecting her. The 3 continued forward for some distance before the young lady stopped and frowned slightly. "Butler Lin, how far is it from Clannorth University?" That the elderly man beside her quickly replied, "Miss Yun, it will take about half a day. If we move quicker, we will definitely be able to arrive before nightfall." Yun Ziru nodded slightly and looked at the maid beside her. "Xiao Qing, did you sense any danger nearby?" The maid said with a serious expression. "There isn't any danger for the time being. Let's continue forward. The real test should begin in the canyon. But miss, don't worry. We will ensure your safe arrival." However, Yun Ziru snorted disdainfully when she heard these words. "This is my test. There's no need for you to act. Unless my life is in danger, the 2 of you are not allowed to help me." Yun Ziru's unquestionable tone made the 2 of them nod helplessly. The 2 of them were much stronger than her. They could effortlessly escort her over. Although Yun Ziru was born into a noble family, she was not pretentious. Otherwise, she would not have been chosen by Clannorth University. The 3 of them continued forward and gradually approached the vast canyon. Suddenly, Xiao Qing seemed to have sensed something. With a swoosh, she appeared in front of Yun Ziru and protected her. Seeing this, Yun Ziru hurriedly asked, "Xiao Qing, is there anything wrong?" She nodded. "I sensed a powerful force, but the details are still unknown. We'd better be careful. Yun Zairu walked over and continued to move forward. Even if there's danger ahead, I have to face it. Otherwise, this test will be meaningless. Xiao Qing felt helpless and could only continue to follow. She got even more cautious, constantly sensing the dangers around them. After continuously moving forward, Xiao Qing saw a hillside not far ahead. She suddenly realized something and quickly said, I finally understand the source of this energy. It is from this hillside. If I'm not wrong, this is a secret realm with bountiful opportunities. The energy I sensed emitted from there. Butler Lin, who was beside her, quickly nodded. That's right. I've encountered many fortuitous secret realms like this distributed in the wild. As long as you enter them, you can obtain countless lucky opportunities. It's enough to change a person's life. Hearing their words, Yun Zairu's interest was immediately piqued. She quickly ran towards the fortuitous secret realm. The two of them quickly followed, and the three of them arrived in front of the mountain slope. The mountain slope was about 2 stories high, and there was a cave at the bottom of the mountain. The cave entrance was pitch black, and they could not see the end of it. When the three approached the cave, a notification box popped up before the entrance. Do you wish to open the fortuitous secret realm? Xiao Qing and Butler Lin both looked at Yun Zairu. She was the one who needed to make the decision. Yun Zairu did not hesitate at all and immediately chose yes. Fail to open. Minimum requirement, 4 people. The three of them looked at each other and were speechless. What? We need 4 people to open it. Yun Zairu was a little unhappy. It wasn't easy for her to come across a fortuitous secret realm, and she did not expect to be unable to open it because of the number of people. The three of them sighed helplessly. Xiao Qing suggested, Miss, why don't I go back and call someone over? Butler Lin agreed. That's right. Xiao Qing's movement speed is quick. She can go back very quickly. At that moment, Yun Zairu looked at the entrance of the secret realm. A timer was displayed on it. It was the countdown to the closure of the secret realm. There's only 10 minutes. Such a short time shouldn't be enough to get someone, right? Yun Zairu looked at Xiao Qing and asked, 10 minutes, is that enough? Xiao Qing nodded heavily to Yun Zairu's hopeful eyes. I'll try my best, and I'll definitely complete it. However, Butler Lin stopped her before she could go. Don't try it. You can't make a round trip in 10 minutes, no matter how fast you are. Then, Butler Lin looked at Yun Zairu with a bit of pity. Why don't we continue moving forward? I don't think we're fated to enter this secret realm. Yun Zairu looked conflicted and finally thought of a solution. Why don't we wait here for 10 minutes? If we can wait for a stranger, won't we have a chance to enter the secret realm? This was the only solution she could think of, although it was a slim hope. Butler Lin sighed helplessly again. Miss, there are high-level ferocious beasts nearby. Ordinary people won't come here, not to mention that this place is so hidden. I feel that even if we wait here for 10 minutes, no one will come. Instead, it will delay the progress of your admission. The butler's words made Yun Zairu fall into deep thought. But, I don't want to let go of this opportunity to make myself stronger. Yun Zairu was very unwilling. Butler Lin quickly comforted her, Miss, when you enter Clannorth University, there will be plenty of opportunities to make you stronger. Alright, it's fine that I've missed this opportunity. No matter what happens next time, I must seize it. Yun Zairu's face was determined as she clenched her fists tightly. Her eyes were filled with resolve. Just as the three of them were about to leave, Xiao Qing suddenly said in a low voice, Miss, wait. I heard movement. Yun Zairu quickly asked, is it a ferocious beast? It's a good opportunity for me to practice. Xiao Qing shook her head slightly, no. It seems to be a person's footsteps. The three of them were stunned at the same time, and then Yun Zairu became excited. Are you serious? Did you hear the footsteps of a person? How far is it? It's about 200 meters. The surrounding weeds are tall, so I can't see the person for now. Yun Zairu looked around excitedly. The appearance of this stranger meant that they had met the requirements to enter the secret realm. The three of them realized the implication and looked toward the sound of the footsteps. Slowly, they saw a figure walking out of the weeds. Lu Yu's figure walked out and appeared in front of the three of them. The three of them were a little stunned when they saw Lu Yu. Lu Yu was dressed in ordinary clothes and looked relatively young. He did not look like someone who would stroll around such a high-level area. Yun Ziru guessed Lu Yu's identity. It was very likely that he was doing a mission from the black market and was here to collect materials. However, what identity he had wasn't important. They just needed an extra head count. Who cared about what identity he had? Moreover, the prowess of the two people with Yun Ziru was not ordinary. Why would they be afraid of a stranger who was alone on a mission? 43 Chapter 43 Cooperation with the Young Lady. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 43 Cooperation with the Young Lady. Lu looked at the three people in front of him and was slightly surprised. He didn't expect to meet others in this wilderness. Hello, my name is Yun Ziru. The gorgeous girl in front of him walked toward him, which made Lu Yu feel a little strange. Hello, my name is Lu Yu. Looking at the three of you, you should be from the same family, right? Yun Ziru nodded, and she turned to look at Xiaoqing. Xiaoqing, you can talk to him about the rest. Xiaoqing, the maid beside her, nodded and walked to Lu Yu. Yun Ziru was not good at negotiating deals, so she left it to Xiaoqing to handle. Xiaoqing came to Lu Yu and said, Mr. Lu Yu, I'll give you a chance to earn 100,000 for free. As long as you fulfill our head count. Lu Yu chuckled, $100,000. Who are you looking down on? I'm not joining. Xiaoqing was neither anxious nor impatient. She explained, although the money is not much, what you need to do is very simple. You just need to accompany us into the secret realm and wait for us to come out. You don't need to do anything during the whole process. You just need to be an extra head count. Lu Yu thought for a moment and asked, you just said that you want me to enter a secret realm. Where is it? Xiaoqing pointed at the cave behind her. As long as you enter that cave, you can enter the secret realm. 100,000 was too little for Lu Yu. He didn't care about this bit of money at all. However, Lu Yu was very interested in the reward of this secret realm. The items contained within it were probably far more than $100,000. Lu Yu looked at Xiaoqing and said, I don't want to negotiate about this with you. Among the three of you, the one with the highest status should be Yun Ziru, right? As he said this, Lu Yu walked toward Yun Ziru. Xiaoqing quickly came in front of Yun Ziru and stopped Lu Yu. However, Yun Ziru pushed Xiaoqing away and looked at Lu Yu. If you want to negotiate this deal with me, you can. So, are you willing to cooperate with me this time? Yun Ziru looked at Lu Yu calmly. As she was in a rush, she hoped Lu Yu would agree as soon as possible. However, she couldn't show her anxiety, or she would be at a disadvantage. If I want to cooperate with you, you've got to at least state where you came from. Otherwise, who knows if you guys are good or evil? Lu Yu's question made Yun Ziru hesitate for a moment, but she still said it out loud. All right then. My name is Yun Ziru, I've already said this. I'm the daughter of the head of the Yun family in Cloud City. The person next to me is my butler. This is Xiaoqing, my maid. Lu Yu sized up the three of them. Their clothes were outstanding, and they looked like they came from a prominent family. After Yun Ziru finished speaking, the three of them looked at Lu Yu earnestly, hoping that Lu Yu would give them some reaction. After all, the Yun family was quite influential in Cloud City. Most people have heard of the powerful Yun family. Yun Ziru was the publicly acknowledged goddess of the entire Cloud City. She had the appearance and figure that made countless guys from other wealthy families craze for her. However, after Lu Yu heard it, he only let out a simple "oh." Since you've already announced your household, I'm relieved. Let's enter the secret realm. Yun Ziru looked at Lu Yu, flabbergasted. No, I said I'm the daughter of the Yun family. Lu Yu nodded. I heard it. I'm not deaf. Yun Ziru held her hands to her forehead and was utterly speechless. You must be from another place. Somewhere far away. The three of them were disappointed, but they did not say anything more. Lu Yu could roughly guess that Yun Ziru's family was not ordinary. That was probably why she felt that his calm reaction was abnormal. Although I have never entered a secret realm, I understand it. Let me get straight to the point. I want the reward for this secret realm. As soon as Lu Yu finished speaking, Yun Zairu was immediately displeased. What do you mean? You're asking for a lot right from the start, aren't you? Do you want to hog all the rewards for yourself right from the start? How are we supposed to work together with you like this? Butler Lin quickly comforted her, Miss, don't be anxious. We'll listen to his explanation. Lu Yu explained, I'm not here to just be an extra headcount if I cooperate with you guys. Our cooperation will be carried out according to the rules of the secret realm. After completing the secret realm, the rewards will be distributed according to the rules. Other than the overall team rating, there will also be a weighted score based on the 4 ratings of damage received, physical damage dealt, spell damage dealt, and healing done. The final individual rating will be obtained based on these scores. Those with the higher rating will receive the secret realm's rewards first. It shouldn't be a problem for us to act according to the rules, right? Although Yun Zairu was confused, she still agreed. She had never entered a secret realm before, so she naturally did not understand the rules. She also understood that Lu Yu was not asking for too much, but she felt he was acting very confident. At the same time, she also became highly confident. Since they were subjected to the realm's rules, she was sure that she would definitely get the highest rating and obtain the rewards of the secret realm. Alright, we will follow the rules. But I am telling you, I will definitely get the rewards this time. Looking at her confident act, Lu Yu only smiled faintly. You haven't even entered, yet you're already boasting. What if you get slapped in the face? Yun Zairu smiled smugly, do you know which university I'm going to? It's Clanorth University. Before Lu Yu could start guessing, she answered quickly. So, do you still think you have a chance to beat me? When Yun Zairu saw that Lu Yu was the same age as her, she knew that she would surely win. After all, Clanorth University was the top university in the country. Those who could enter this university were all the top geniuses in the country. She was one of these top geniuses. No one could compare to her. It was this confidence that made her believe that she would undoubtedly win against Lu Yu. However, Lu Yu only shrugged indifferently. We'll know the result after we enter. Alright, I'll give you a chance to witness the elegance of a top-notch genius. Following that, the 4 of them arrived at the entrance of the secret realm. This place was like a teleportation portal. Once they entered, they would head to another space. Yun Zairu raised her right hand. The ring on her slender jade finger flashed with light, and a pile of equipment appeared before her eyes. Let's make preparations first before entering the secret realm. Let me put on my equipment first. Lu Yu also revealed his storage ring. After the light flashed, his equipment also appeared on the ground. Usually, to facilitate movement, he would not wear his equipment. Only when he was about to battle would he put on the equipment. Lu Yu looked at the equipment in front of Yun Zairu and could not help but sigh. As expected of a member of a prominent family, every piece of equipment was incomparably superb. At a glance, one could tell that it was the clothing of an aristocrat. Then, he looked at his own equipment. Although the equipment stats were not bad, it looked very rough and did not look fashionable. At this moment, Yun Zairu looked at the equipment in front of Lu Yu and asked, this set of equipment of yours can't be green quality, right? If so, that's newbie level equipment. 44 Chapter 44 Who's the True Genius? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 44 Who's the True Genius? Yun Zairu looked at the equipment in front of Lu Yu and felt that many of it was green equipment. These pieces of equipment, are there any that are above green quality? Look at my blue robe. It's of perfect blue quality. Look at the lovely workmanship. Yun Zairu proudly showed off her equipment. Besides her, the maid Xiaoqing couldn't help but show off as well. This speedy vine armor of mine is also blue quality. If I didn't work for the Yun family, getting this kind of equipment wouldn't be easy. The 3 people in front of him all showed off their equipment, whether intentionally or not, but Lu Yu roughly looked at them and felt they were all very ordinary. Blue magic robe, blue, increases 50 mana, increases 15 defense, increases 15 speed. Speedy vine armor, blue, increases 40 speed, 20 defense. there were also a few pieces of inferior blue equipment, the rest were all green equipment. To be honest, they were pretty ordinary. Lu Yu did not know where they got the courage to show off. Lu Yu was a little speechless. He said powerlessly, "All of my pieces of equipment are blue grade. They should be fine." The three of them were stunned when they heard that. Yun Zairu was in disbelief. "I don't believe it. How are your pieces of equipment all blue grade?" She did not want to believe it. As the young lady of a large and prominent family, she had only obtained 1 or 2 pieces of high-quality blue-grade equipment. However, this young man who needed to go on a material collecting mission before her was wearing all blue-grade equipment. How could she believe it? Xiao Qing and the butler were in disbelief. From their point of view, Lu Yu looked like he was from an average family. How could he own so many blue equipments? "If you don't believe me, just come over and take a look." Lu Yu was too lazy to explain. Yun Zairu walked over doubtfully and looked at the equipment carefully. She picked up one of the pieces of equipment and immediately got the information, then, she opened her mouth in surprise. "It's really blue-grade equipment." "What about this one?" That she picked up another piece of equipment. Sure enough, it was also blue. She continued to pick up the third and fourth pieces. In the end, they were all blue-grade. At that moment, she stood frozen on the spot and couldn't believe what she had seen. "It's really all blue quality equipment." Lu Yu shrugged, "I've already told you. If you don't believe me, there's nothing I can say." Xiao Qing and Butler Lin were also surprised. Lu Yu looked like a young man from an ordinary family. To be able to take out so many blue-grade equipments at once really surprised them. Yun Zairu pouted unhappily. "Humph. When I go home, I'll definitely ask Dad to get me more blue-grade equipment." That the four of them started to put on their equipment on the spot. After everyone was fully equipped, they could make their final preparations. "I suggest that both of us introduce our talents and our roles to each other. This will be more convenient for our future cooperation." Yun Zairu suggested it. Butler Lin was the first to respond to Yun Zairu's suggestion. He said, "My talent is rock wall. My defense is very high, so my position is a tank. I usually take the role of absorbing damage in a party. Oh right, my overall strength rating is level 28. After Butler Lin finished, Xiao Qin continued, "My talent is twin shadows. My speciality is invisibility and creating clones, so my role is an assassin. My overall rating is level 24. Yun Zairu gave the last introduction. "My talent is a hidden talent. The specific name, evolution path, and so on are vague. The only thing that can be confirmed is that my talent is a mage-type talent, so it requires a very high mana value. Oh right, my overall strength rating is level 15. After the three of them finished introducing themselves, they looked at Lu Yu, looking forward to hearing about Lu Yu's talent. However, their expectations were not high. They felt that it would be pretty good if Lu Yu's overall strength rating could reach level 10. Lu Yu began to introduce his talent, but he did not plan to reveal his talent's name. After all, the world had too many prejudices toward the claw attack talent. If he revealed that his talent was publicly acknowledged as the weakest talent, he would definitely be looked down upon by the three of them. Based on the effect of my talent, you guys can treat me as a close combat specialist. My tank and damage output aren't bad. Yun Zairu was puzzled, close combat fighter. It seems that your talent is also a hidden talent. I didn't expect us to be the same. The biggest problem with hidden talent is that we can't estimate our path from previous users with the same talent. Because she didn't know her specific talent, she couldn't know the complete path of evolution. If she knew this in advance, she would be able to prepare for the future as soon as possible. However, as she had a hidden talent, she could only figure it out herself. Oh right, you all said that you have a comprehensive rating. How did you calculate this? Lu Yu was a little confused about this rating. There was never a rating on his personal interface. Yun Zairu was a little curious. It can't be that you have never rated your own strength, right? After saying that, she looked at Butler Lin. Then, Butler Lin took out something that looked like a scanner and pointed it at Lu Yu. After scanning him for a while, 2 numbers appeared on it. Butler Lin muttered, "He's actually level 19. that when Yun Zairu heard that, she was astonished and hurriedly walked over. Really? Is he actually level 19, higher than me? But he looks the same age as me. Yun Zairu exclaimed. At that moment, Yun Zairu's brows were tightly furrowed as she fell into deep thought. She was only level 15, and a top-tier institution like Clarnorth University accepted her. Lu Yu, who looked the same age as her, was already level 19. Didn't this mean Lu Yu was also very likely to be accepted by Clarnorth University? This was a very likely outcome. After all, Clarnorth University would not let a genius out of their sight. Yun Zairu carefully looked at Lu Yu and asked, "You're not on a mission for the black market, are you?" Lu Yu shook his head. Could it be that you are going to Clarnorth University for admission? That's right, you're correct. I'm the same as you. I'm going to attend Clarnorth University. Lu Yu did not beat around the bush and directly said it. Yun Zairu was utterly speechless. As the daughter of a large family clan, she had many experts by her side to help her fight monsters in dungeons. However, the speed at which her strength increased was not comparable to a lone cultivator. Clarnorth University even accepted him. All this while, Yun Zairu had always felt that she was a genius, a chosen one. However, in front of Lu Yu, she felt that she was mediocre for the first time. He was a true genius. I didn't expect that I would meet a future classmate. Yun Zairu sighed and looked at Lu Yu differently. 45 Chapter 45 Enter the Secret Realm, Toxic Ruins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 45 Enter the Secret Realm, Toxic Ruins. When the three of them discovered that Lu Yu was also an admitted student at Clarnorth University, they were all surprised. They knew that, with Lu Yu's condition, he must have put in a lot of effort to be admitted to Clarnorth University. Moreover, Lu Yu's talent was definitely not ordinary. The three of them were curious about what kind of talent Lu Yu had. But since Lu Yu did not want to tell them, they did not intend to ask further. The four of them put on their equipment and began to make preparations in advance. Butler Lin was the first to stand up and said, "I'll take the lead. Then, Lu Yu will follow behind me, and Miss will be in third place. Lastly, Xiao Qin will be in last place." How about that? They all felt Butler Lin's allocation was reasonable and nodded in agreement. Under this allocation, there was no doubt that Yun Zairu was in the safest position. On the one hand, she was the daughter of the Yun family, so Butler Lin naturally had to allocate her like this. On the other hand, the position of a mage should be in a safe position in a team, so they will be able to deal more damage. Since we are all ready, let's enter the secret realm. As Lu Yu said, he stepped forward to the secret realm entrance and looked at the panel that was displayed. After he confirmed that their team was about to enter the secret realm, a ray of light flashed from the cave, and the four of them disappeared. Soon, their figures appeared in another place. After the four of them were teleported to this place, they quickly scanned their surroundings to get a hold of the situation around them. There were thick waves of fog around them. In the thick fog, they could vaguely see that their surroundings were piles of ruins. Yun Zairu frowned slightly and pinched her nose with her hand. The smell of this thick fog is very strange. Lu Yu and the other two also sensed something was wrong with the thick fog. They started to feel uncomfortable while breathing. At that moment, they saw the notification panel floating in the air. You have entered the secret realm, Toxic Ruins. Please proceed with caution. Toxic Ruins. It seems that this secret realm is related to poison or some sort. This fog might contain poisonous gas, Butler Lin said, with a solemn expression. They did not bring any anti-poison equipment this time. At most, they had a few emergency antidotes, but if there were poison fog everywhere, just these antidotes wouldn't be enough. Yun Zairu and Xiao Qin looked troubled. They didn't know what to do next. At this moment, Lu Yu used his eye of truth to look at the details of the surrounding poisonous fog of corrosion. After inhaling it, resistance to poison will decrease. Damage from poison attacks will increase. After reading the notification, Lu Yu was relieved. It was just a fog with a debuff effect. It was not too bad, and they could still continue their journey. Of course, this negative effect was also very troublesome. After all, the monsters inside were definitely all using poison elemental attacks. Don't worry. This poisonous fog is called the fog of corrosion. After inhalation, it will only give a debuff effect, reducing our resistance to poison attacks. It shouldn't affect our movements. As long as we don't get injured during battles, it will be fine. Lu Yu's explanation made the other three heave a sigh of relief. Butler Lin couldn't help but sigh. I didn't expect a young man like you to be so knowledgeable. I didn't even recognize what this poisonous fog was. Yun Zairu looked at Lu Yu curiously. Lu Yu just shrugged. I just happened to read a book about the toxic ruins, that's why I know about it. Lu Yu found an excuse and continued to move forward. Butler Lin took the lead and took caution to the movements ahead. Xiao Qing was at the back of the team, keenly sensing the danger around them. After moving forward for a while, Butler Lin suddenly stopped. There's something up ahead. It looks like a lizard is attacking. Lu Yu looked over and saw a half-man-sized lizard running madly towards them. Toxic lizard, attack, 100, speed, 150, health, 150, mana, 100, defense, 120, skill, venom spray. Although its attributes were average, the skill it had was fatal. The poison effect would probably be unpleasant if one were hit by its venom. Butler Lin did not hesitate. He quickly raised his arms, and a stone wall rose from the ground. The toxic lizard opened its mouth and spat out a large amount of poison, but the wall blocked it. Then, Lu Yu noticed a king cobra beside him. It stood upright and attacked. When Yun Zairu saw such a terrifying venomous snake squirming over, her face turned pale with fear. She took 2 deep breaths and calmed down. She picked up her staff and prepared to face the enemy. In the next moment, Lu Yu's arms transformed into dragon claws. His pair of sharp claws looked daunting. Following that, Lu Yu charged toward the king cobra. Swoosh! Swoosh! With 2 swift and fierce strikes, Lu Yu easily sliced the king cobra into pieces the moment it appeared. On the other hand, Butler Lin had also covered his arms and chest with rock armor. He waved his fists and started fighting with the toxic lizard. At the back, Xiao Qing was fighting with a venomous scorpion. The scorpion was as big as an ostrich, and its black armor was tough. Xiao Qing stabbed the venomous scorpion with her sword, and sparks flew when her sword connected against its armor. Lu Yu was prepared to help Xiao Qing kill the venomous scorpion first. But before he could, another king cobra jumped out of the ruins next to them. Then, another toxic lizard sprung out. The surrounding venomous creatures began to appear slowly. Oh no, we're surrounded. Butler Lin alone took on 4 to 5 toxic lizards. The lizards climbed onto his body and tried to break through his defense. On Lu Yu's side, 7 to 8 king cobras were gathered in front of him. He activated his split claw skill and instantly chopped several king cobras into pieces. After killing the poisonous creatures beside him, Lu Yu looked around and realized their team was split apart. Yun Zairu was surrounded by poisonous creatures as well. There were poisonous toads all around her, jumping toward her. Meanwhile, she tried her best to activate the spell she had learned and created fireballs one after another. Lu Yu quickly went over to help. After a few attacks from him, more than half of the poisonous toads were killed. In a short time, Lu Yu and Yun Zairu worked together to kill the surrounding poisonous creatures. At the back, Xiao Qing broke the venomous scorpion's armor and killed it. Butler Lin, standing at the front, also tried his best to kill the toxic lizard crawling on his body. After repelling this wave of poisonous creatures, the 4 of them regrouped. Damn it! These creatures aren't easy to deal with. I'll be finished if I'm not careful and get poisoned. Butler Lin wiped the sweat off his forehead. Yun Zairu looked at Lu Yu and lowered her head. Thank you for helping me out just now. The sudden wave of attacks just now almost made her unable to react in time. If it were just the 3 of them, she would have already been poisoned. 46 Chapter 46 Deep Level Dungeon, Toxic Dragon Lair. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 46 Deep Level Dungeon, Toxic Dragon Lair. The previous wave of ferocious beast sneak attack and being attacked by all kinds of poisonous creatures made the 4 of them start to re-examine this secret realm. Judging from that wave of battle just now, if it comes again, we won't be able to withstand it. Butler Lin said, with some uneasiness. That was only the first wave of attack when they entered the secret realm. If they went deeper, they would definitely encounter more enemies. The three of them looked at Lu Yu at the same time. From his performance just now, Lu Yu's battle experience was not inferior to theirs. Moreover, he was calmer and did not panic at all. He looked like a veteran who had been through hundreds of battles. Yun Ziru asked, Lu Yu, how do you think we should proceed from here? Lu Yu lowered his head and pondered for a moment. There were about 10 to 20 poisonous beasts that had just attacked. If they continued to advance further, the number of ferocious beasts attacking them would definitely increase. Most importantly, they had to be extra cautious when fighting with these beasts to prevent themselves from getting injured and poisoned. They could not afford to drag it out if that was the case. It was very easy for accidents to happen if they moved forward slowly. In the end, Lu Yu gave his suggestion. There is no turning back in the secret realm this time. We have to keep moving forward until we get the reward. The most important thing is that we cannot drag it out. We don't have any poison-resistant equipment, and we have very few antidotes. So, my suggestion is to clear the level as quickly as possible and not engage in battle. That way, we can avoid any accidents to the greatest extent. Lu Yu's suggestion made the three of them nod their heads slightly. They felt that they should do this as well. But soon, Butler Lin raised his doubts. From the situation just now, these beasts were very well hidden. We don't know which areas have enemies and which areas don't. If that's the case, it's impossible to advance quickly. We'll have to fight them sooner or later. Yun Ziru nodded in agreement. If the enemy's position is obvious, then we can scout and advance simultaneously. But we can't do that with the enemies just now. Xiao Qin also nodded in agreement and frowned at the same time. This meant they had to advance while fighting and pay attention to the risk of being poisoned. However, Lu Yu shook his head and said, I can lead you to avoid the enemies and advance quickly. The three of them looked at each other and heaved a sigh of relief. It seems that you have some means to identify the enemies, said Butler Lin. Lu Yu nodded slightly and said, in that case, I will lead the team and advance quickly. The three of them agreed and continued to move forward. Butler Lin, initially in the lead, took over Lu Yu's position. Lu Yu stood at the head of the team and led the three people behind him forward. As they moved forward, Lu Yu used his eye of truth to detect the enemies around them. As long as he sensed that there was a large area of enemies in that area, he would directly go around it. They might encounter some scattered enemies on the way, but those enemies were easily killed. Yun Ziru and the other two discovered that they encountered few enemies along the way under Lu Yu's lead. It seemed that Lu Yu did not lie to them. Thus, the three of them followed behind Lu Yu even more firmly. Gradually, they were almost at the center of the mystical realm. The more they got closer to the center, the fewer the ferocious beasts appeared around them. Generally speaking, the center or end of the dungeon would be occupied by a boss. The other ferocious beasts would not dare approach a boss territory. When they realized that the number of ferocious beasts around them was decreasing, they understood that they were almost at the heart of the dungeon. They passed through the ruins, and suddenly, the area in front of them became wide open. A large piece of empty land suddenly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. In the center of the empty land, there were 4 circular formations. Mysterious patterns were carved on the formations, and the surrounding energy constantly surged. Lu Yu stopped and whispered, "Be careful. This might be where the boss is." Yun Ziru looked excited. In other words, this is the secret realm's reward location. Since that's the case, let's hurry out and get rid of that monster. That she couldn't hold it in any longer and wanted to go out and look for the boss. Lu Yu stopped and reminded her, "It's better to be careful." Lu Yu felt that it was a little strange. His eye of truth didn't sense any powerful enemies around him. Could it be that there was no boss here? Although it was a little ridiculous, Lu Yu still believed in his eye of truth. "I think there might not be a boss here." Lu Yu's words made the three of them curious. That's impossible. How could there be no boss in such a dangerous secret realm? Yun Ziru was a little disappointed. If there wasn't a powerful boss, it basically meant that the rewards of this secret realm wouldn't be much. Lu Yu took the lead and walked out. "Let's go and take a look first." With someone taking the lead, the three of them quickly followed. They slowly approached and arrived at the center of the array. Then, all 4 of them received a notification at the same time. Hidden, fear-level dungeon discovered, toxic dragon lair. This notification left the four of them stunned. These four arrays were teleportation arrays. There's actually an even deeper dungeon. It looks like these poisonous creatures are guarding this toxic dragon lair. Lu Yu exclaimed. Then, he noticed the words fear level. Fear level, seems to be an even higher level dungeon than I experienced. Lu Yu had researched the level division of dungeons. A fear level dungeon was of a much higher level than the dangerous level dungeons. As for the dangerous level dungeon, Lu Yu challenged two bosses at one go in it, and he almost lost his life. The difficulty of the fear level was far greater than the dangerous level. The bosses that could occupy the dungeon were probably something else. The other three frowned when they saw this level. This has already exceeded my level. Yun Zairu said with some regret. Although she was in a rush to improve her strength, she also knew what level she was at. A fear-level dungeon was far from what she could deal with. Yun Zairu looked at Butler Lin and Xiao Qing and said, "This time, you two can go ahead. If you get the reward, you two can get a bigger portion of it too." Butler Lin quickly nodded and said, "All right, miss. In that case, Xiao Qing and I will enter the dungeon. The two of you can stay here and wait." Lu Yu was a little reluctant. It was not easy for him to encounter an opportunity, so how could he give it up so easily? If he did not participate now, he probably would not get any benefits when the dungeon ended. "I want to enter the dungeon too. I won't miss such an opportunity." Butler Lin quickly reassured him, "You're only level 19, so you're not suitable to enter a fear level dungeon. If you enter, it will only delay us from completing the dungeon. When the dungeon is completed, we'll give you some rewards. You don't need to force yourself." 47 Chapter 47 Challenge the Boss. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 47 Challenge the Boss. Butler Lin's persuasion made Lu Yu give up the idea of entering the dungeon. Lu Yu was not afraid of danger as he had many life-saving skills. If he could not defeat the boss, he could just run away, but now, he was not fighting alone. He wouldn't have much freedom with teammates by his side. "All right then. You two enter the dungeon. We will wait for you here." Butler Lin and Xiao Qing nodded simultaneously and walked into the teleportation array. At that moment, Lu Yu could suddenly sense the presence of danger from the formation. The four formations represented the east, west, south, and north. There were four arrays representing four directions to the toxic dragon lair. Now, the formation in the south has revealed a dangerous aura. Lu Yu was just about to warn them when he realized that the dangerous aura had changed, emanating from the formation in the west. However, very soon, the dangerous aura came from the north side, then the east side. Lu Yu quickly understood that the boss in the dungeon might have sensed them through the teleportation formation, hence, he frantically wandered around the four teleportation points, trying to catch them as soon as they landed on a specific teleportation array. From this, it could be seen that the dungeon boss movement speed was extremely fast. "Both of you, you must be careful after entering. The movement speed of this dungeon boss is extremely fast. After teleporting over, don't stay in the same place for too long." After listening to Lu Yu's advice, both of them nodded their heads. The fact that Lu Yu had led them all the way here already proved that he had a very strong perception ability. Therefore, the two of them did not doubt Lu Yu's words. "Don't worry. If we can't defeat the boss, we will return as soon as possible," Butler Lin reassured. Xiao Qing swung the short sword in her hand twice and said firmly, "We are going in to kill this boss. There is no need to run. All right, you guys go on in. If anything happens, we will support you as soon as possible." However, when Butler Lin heard this, he shook his head with a grave expression. "No, if anything happens to us, you guys should run away quickly. If both of us are defeated, then both of you are definitely no match for it." Xiao Qing looked at Yun Zairu and said, "If anything happens, you must run back. You don't have to come and save us." Hearing this, Yun Zairu felt a slight discomfort in her heart. She didn't know what to say to that. However, Lu Yu had already made up his mind that he had to go in and challenge the boss. Otherwise, wouldn't he have come in vain? Butler Lin and Xiao Qing walked to the south side of the array formation. and the two stood in the array formation. Immediately after that, the array formation began to operate. Energy gushed, and light shot out from the array formation. Above the formation, a teleportation door slowly opened. The two of them could see the situation inside the toxic dragon lair through the teleportation door. The two of them stepped through the teleportation door and entered the inner part of the dungeon. Then, the teleportation door closed. Lu Yu and Yun Xiru came to the center of the four formations and began to wait. On the other hand, the place where the two of them entered was a huge and spacious cave-like lair in the inner part of the dungeon. The cave was filled with purple crystals, and the crystals were emitting a weak light. It barely illuminates the surroundings. As soon as Butler Lin entered, he was fully armed, prepared, and wearing his rock armor. As for Xiao Qing, she was also ready to fight at any moment. Not long after the two of them entered, they heard an earth-shattering roar. That ear-piercing dragon's roar made the two of them cover their ears. The two looked not far away and saw a huge figure flying toward them. It was a huge dragon with a giant body. It was flapping its wings and had dazzling amethyst crystals all over its body as it charged toward the two of them. Butler Lin's expression immediately changed. This is actually the amethyst toxic dragon. Xiao Qing, get ready. We need to go all out. Xiao Qing's expression turned serious. She had heard of the amethyst toxic dragon before. It had terrifying strength and a violent nature. Moreover, its strength rating was around level 30. Even though Butler Lin and Xiao Qing were both level 20 and above, it would still be tough. After all, an awakener and a boss with a giant physique were not the same. Even though Butler Lin was level 28 and was only 2 levels lower than the amethyst toxic dragon, the difference was like heaven and earth when it came to actual combat. Butler Lin's entire body was covered in thick rock armor, and his pair of heavy rock fists made him look mighty and domineering. Xiao Qing, at his side, pulled out a pair of short swords and also took a battle stance. The amethyst toxic dragon quickly attacked, and a pair of terrifying giant claws slashed at the two of them. The two did not hesitate and quickly dodged the giant dragon's claw attack. There was a large crater where the giant claw gauged out the earth. The two of them felt a chill in their hearts just looking at it. The amethyst toxic dragon landed on the ground and turned around to look at the two of them. Its dark purple eyes stared straight at the two of them, and its eyes were filled with anger. It was obvious that the dragon was furious at the two intruders, therefore, it flapped its wings with all its might. Immediately, countless crystals shot out and crashed toward the two of them. When the amethyst toxic dragon stood and flapped its wings, its height was 3 stories tall. The two of them would not be able to withstand the impact of these hard crystals. However, the flying crystals shooting at them were densely packed, and the two of them had nowhere to hide. Xiao Qing, stand behind me. Butler Lin waved his hand, and a stone wall rose from the ground in front of them, protecting them. Then, Butler Lin used both hands to block in front of him, creating a second layer of protection. The crystals smashed toward him, and a series of muffled bangs could be heard. A few cracks appeared on the rock wall in front of Butler Lin. The next moment, with a loud bang, the wall collapsed, and the crystals smashed toward him. The sharp crystals crashed onto Butler Lin's arms, causing cracks to appear in the rock armor on his arms. The violent impact also made him stumble and retreat. Xiao Qing, hiding behind him, saw an opportunity and instantly rushed out. Her phantom-like speed allowed her to dodge the remaining crystals in an instant. Very quickly, she charged to the feet of the amethyst toxic dragon. In the next moment, she brandished her 2 swords with all her might and activated her armor penetration skill, slashing down at the giant claw of the amethyst toxic dragon. With a crisp sound, the amethyst crystal covering the giant claw of the amethyst toxic dragon shattered, revealing the flesh underneath. The amethyst toxic dragon felt the pain and raised its right foot, trying to stomp down on Xiao Qing. Xiao Qing did not panic at all. She climbed up the giant claw of the amethyst toxic dragon and directly jumped onto the back of the amethyst toxic dragon. The back was the weak point of all the giant dragons. It was a position that was difficult for them to guard against. After climbing onto the back of the giant dragon, Xiao Qing quickly activated her armor penetration skill a second time and attacked the scales on the back of the huge dragon. The crystal scales shattered one after another, revealing the hide and muscles underneath. The amethyst toxic dragon was in pain. It frantically flailed its body, but it could not attack Xiaoqing. At that moment, Butler Lin had also finished defending against the incoming crystal. He clenched his fists and charged toward the Amethyst Toxic Dragon. When the Amethyst Toxic Dragon saw Butler Lin charging over, it instantly realized that it was in a disadvantageous position, thus, it hurriedly flapped its wings and flew up. Xiaoqing, also in the air, felt they were in a pinch at that moment. 48 Chapter 48 Crushing Defeat, Terror of Amethyst Toxic Dragon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 48 Crushing Defeat, Terror of Amethyst Toxic Dragon. That I and the Toxic Dragon Lair. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon flapped its wings and flew up with Xiaoqing. Butler Lin rushed over and punched, hitting nothing but air. Although his defense was very high, his attack power was not to be underestimated. The only thing that he was lacking was speed. If his punch had hit the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's claws, it would at least have suffered a slight fracture, but now, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon had flown up, bringing Xiaoqing along. Butler Lin hurriedly shouted, "Quickly jump down. You will be in a bad position if you are up there." Xiaoqing, who had been through hundreds of battles, naturally knew this. Hence, after she broke a crystal on the neck of the Amethyst Toxic Dragon, she jumped down. Xiaoqing's body landed lightly on the ground. The two of them raised their heads to look at the giant dragon. "I've already broken through a few of its vital points. It shouldn't be too difficult to kill it," Xiaoqing said confidently. Butler Lin nodded as well. "However, we still have to be careful. This Amethyst Toxic Dragon is huge. In terms of strength and health, it is superior to us. Therefore, we still have to be careful." Xiaoqing nodded and did not say anything else. The two of them looked up and were surprised to find that the Amethyst Toxic Dragon continued flying up without any signs of stopping. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon's back was about to hit the top of the cave, yet it still had no intention of stopping. The next moment, with a loud bang, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon crashed into the top of the cave. Then, the two of them were surprised to find the Amethyst Toxic Dragon rubbing its body against the top of the cave. After that, it began to descend again slowly. Xiaoqing was surprised to find that the crystal scales she had just broken were fixed, all covered with amethyst crystals again. In other words, she had wasted effort trying to break through its armor. Damn it! It's back to full defense again. Xiaoqing cursed angrily. Butler Lin said helplessly, "There's no other way. Let's fight him again." The two of them readied themselves for battle. However, this time the Amethyst Toxic Dragon suddenly retracted its wings and charged toward the two of them at a high speed. Its speed was so fast that they could not react in time. Seeing this, Butler Lin did not have time to think. He immediately crossed his arms in front of him. After the Amethyst Toxic Dragon landed, it lashed out its tail and stabbed toward Butler Lin. The end of the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's tail was covered with long and thin venomous stingers. Once it was stabbed into something, a large amount of venom would be injected from it. When Butler Lin saw the densely packed venomous stingers, he instantly realized he had made the wrong decision. He shouldn't defend against it. However, he no longer had the time to dodge at that moment. The only choice he had was to receive the other party's attack. Swoosh. The venomous stinger pierced Butler Lin's chest and sent him flying more than 10 meters away. After Butler Lin fell to the ground, he could not stand up and lost his ability to fight. As the venom spread, he gradually felt weak, and his entire body went limp. He could not help but sigh. He was probably going to die here. On the other hand, Xiaoqing, who had just dodged the attack of the Amethyst Toxic Dragon, looked at Butler Lin, who had fallen to the ground. After losing a teammate, her chances of winning were close to zero. It would be extremely difficult for her to take on this giant dragon alone. A thought emerged in her mind, which was to first escape and find reinforcements. If she was lucky, she might even be able to save Butler Lin. With this thought in mind, she rushed towards the teleportation point. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon quickly crawled toward Xiaoqing. Although Xiaoqing's speed was extremely fast, it was still inferior to this giant creature. In the blink of an eye, the behemoth behind them caught up. It opened its bloody mouth and bit at Xiaoqing. Squelch. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon bit Xiaoqing and instantly tore her into pieces. After biting Xiaoqing, the Amethyst toxic dragon turned around in satisfaction and prepared to leave. At that moment, not far away, Xiaoqing sat on the ground after removing her invisibility. She panted heavily, her face was deathly pale as she rested. She would have died if she had not used her twin shadows to create a clone. Watching her other self being torn into a bloody mess made Xiaoqing feel a great fear in her heart. At that moment, she felt the terror of the Amethyst toxic dragon. She was definitely not its opponent, and she had to escape from here. After confirming her thoughts, Xiaoqing stood up and quietly walked toward the array formation. She was surprised that the Amethyst toxic dragon did not go anywhere. Instead, it stood guard beside Butler Lin and did not move. However, the Amethyst toxic dragon's location was not far from the array formation. If she was discovered, Xiaoqing did not think too much. She could leave this place if she reached the array formation. Thus, she rushed toward the array without caring about anything else. She wanted to escape from this place that made her feel frightened. Just as she was about to reach the array, the Amethyst toxic dragon suddenly raised its head and sensed Xiaoqing. At that moment, Xiaoqing did not care about anything else. She was only 2 or 3 steps away from leaving this place. However, the Amethyst toxic dragon opened its mouth, and a pool of green venom gushed out. The next moment, this green venom shot toward Xiaoqing like a high-pressure water gun. Xiaoqing was just 1 step away from leaving this place and returning to the upper level of the dungeon. Sadly, her entire body was covered by the venom, and she froze in place after getting hit by the dragon's attack, completely losing the ability to move. She struggled and squirmed in the sticky venom, but it was no use. Gradually, she lost her vitality. On the other side of the teleportation array, Lu Yu and Yun Zairu were sitting cross-legged on the ground, waiting for the two to return. Lu Yu frowned slightly. That dangerous aura had stayed in the teleportation array in the south. It was obvious that they had fought at that teleportation point. However, the two had not returned for a long time, which worried Lu Yu and Yun Zairu. Why don't we go in and take a look? Maybe they have reached the battle's climax, and we can help them. Yun Zairu suggested. Lu Yu thought for a moment and nodded. In that case, let's go down and take a look. We did wait for so long after all. As he said that, he stood up and walked toward the formation array. Suddenly, the south formation lit up, and the teleportation door gradually opened. When Yun Zairu saw this, she immediately became excited. That's great. Xiaoqing and the butler have taken down the boss. We can split the rewards now. Yun Zairu smiled excitedly, but instead of the two, a huge dragon's head poked out from the teleportation door. Yun Zairu, excited just moments before, instantly froze on the spot. She started to panic, and her face was pale. Lu Yu quickly made his battle preparations. This dragon can activate the array formation. Be careful. Butler Lin and Xiaoqing have already lost. The rest is up to us. Yun Zairu heard this and felt even more despair. If even Butler Lin and Xiaoqing couldn't do it, how could they be a match for this dragon? 49 Chapter 49 Weird Talent, Charm Warlock. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 49 Weird Talent, Charm Warlock. The teleportation door continued to expand, and the Amethyst toxic dragon slowly crawled out. Its enormous body stepped out of the teleportation door, causing the surrounding ground to tremble. The Amethyst toxic dragon's entire body was covered in purple crystals that emitted a dazzling light, illuminating the surroundings. When it saw Lu Yu and Yun Zairu standing in the array's center, it immediately let out an angry roar. Roar! The angry roar came with a foul stench, causing the two to cover their mouths and noses hurriedly. Lu Yu hurriedly used his eye of truth to check the information about the Amethyst toxic dragon and prepare for the upcoming battle. Amethyst toxic dragon. Attack, 330. Speed, 320. Health, 650. Mana, 200. Defense, 320. Its health and defense were far greater than Lu Yu's. Moreover, its attack and speed were almost identical to Lu Yu's. It would not be easy to kill this beast. Lu Yu reminded Yun Zairu, be careful. This beast is powerful. We have no way out now that your two followers have already been defeated. Yun Zairu nodded seriously. She knew well that the two could not outrun this giant dragon. If they were to run away in fear, they would just perish as a result. At that moment, Yunzairu unbuttoned a button on her neck. It seems that I can't hide my talent anymore. I have to give it my all, or else there's no hope of survival. Lu Yu looked at Yunzairu curiously and asked, didn't you say your talent is a hidden talent? Yunzairu shook her head, I know my talent clearly, but I never intended on revealing it. There's a reason for that. After saying that, she took off her blue robe and revealed a blue inner armor underneath. Under the inner armor was a black, silk-made, tight-fitting suit. This faintly discernible black silk bodysuit perfectly outlined Yunzairu's curvy figure. Moreover, the armor only covered her essential parts. Her exposed waist or legs made one's blood boil. Lu Yu took a look and couldn't help but gulp. So you can say what kind of talent you have now. Lu Yu could use his eye of truth to look at her talent, but there was no need for that. After she took off her robe, Yunzairu's face flushed red. She said, in a low voice, my talent is Charm Warlock. This is a strong crowd control talent. Someone with this talent will have to wear the equipment I'm wearing now to activate their skills. Lu Yu looked at her again and nodded in agreement. I understand now why you would want to hide your talent. Now that's over with, let's deal with the enemy in front of us. Whether it was her equipment that she was wearing, her talent, or her skills, none of them was proper for a young lady from a prominent family. If the public knew that she fights by charming her enemies, there would definitely be a scandal, so it was not surprising that she hid her talent. At that moment, Yunzairu began to prepare to release her skills. She felt that her outfit was shameful, but her talent worked this way, and she couldn't do anything about it. She closed her eyes and gathered all the energy in her body. The Amethyst toxic dragon rushed toward Yunzairu as she prepared her skills. Lu Yu got anxious and shouted, Miss Yun, get out of the way. However, Yunzairu acted as if she did not hear him and stood still. Lu Yu gradually realized that she should have a way to deal with it. Otherwise, standing still during an attack like this would mean certain death. The next moment, the Amethyst toxic dragon reached Yunzairu. It opened its bloody mouth and was about to chomp on her. At the brink of death, Yunzairu opened her eyes. Her cold, emotionless eyes moved weirdly. Her pupils turned into dazzling colors that were changing continuously. When the giant dragon saw Yunzairu's eyes, its entire body immediately stiffened. Lu Yu was astonished to notice the Amethyst toxic dragon standing where it was. Yunzairu's skills were so powerful that she could even control such a giant beast. He presumed that even if he looked into her eyes, it would be difficult for him to escape her control. Lu Yu used his eye of truth to look at Yunzairu and saw the related skill under her interface, Eye of Illusion. Any living being that looks into the caster's eyes will enter an illusion, the same as dreaming. After receiving a large amount of damage, they will be able to escape control. In other words, the Amethyst toxic dragon hit by this skill had already lost control of its body. During this period, Lu Yu and Yunzairu could attack it as much as possible. Miss Yun, how long can you control it? Lu Yu asked. The control time limit is 3 minutes. I created a dream for it, and it is immersed in it at the moment. The key is the damage that we would deal. A high amount of damage will immediately wake it from the pain. Lu Yu raised his arms and transformed into dragon claws. Then leave the task of dealing damage to me. Yunzairu quickly reminded, be careful. Once the control time limit is over, it will be difficult for us to deal with it. As a powerful boss, the Amethyst toxic dragon had very high intelligence. Once it was controlled for the first time, it would probably be challenging to do it again another time. Lu Yu swung his claws and walked toward the Amethyst toxic dragon. If that's the case, I'll focus on breaking its armor and defense. This way, even if the control time limit is over, it won't be too hard for us to fight it. Yunzairu nodded, this dragon's defense is very high. We should prioritize breaking its armor. Thus, Lu Yu walked toward the Amethyst toxic dragon that stood still. When he arrived in front of the Amethyst toxic dragon, Lu Yu activated his skill Armor Penetration. He used both of his claws to hack away at the Amethyst toxic dragon, breaking a few patches of crystals that were attached to its body. one armor penetration skill could reduce 30% of the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's defense, reducing the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's defense by 100 points. As long as he activated armor penetration 3 times, he would be able to break the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's defense completely. After the first time, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon suffered some injuries, and the Amethyst Toxic Dragon trembled in pain. Fortunately, it did not break free from Yunzairu's control. Lu Yu continued to activate armor penetration for the second time and swung his claws down with all his might. The crystal covering the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's neck instantly shattered, revealing the dragon's hide underneath. After the second time, Lu Yu hurriedly activated a third time. After this slash from Lu Yu, there weren't many crystal scales covering the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's body anymore. The surroundings were filled with scattered crystal shards. Seeing this, Yunzairu was surprised at how powerful Lu Yu's armor-penetrating skill was. With the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's high defense, if she didn't have the help of her maid, Shaoqing, she would never have had the chance to break through its defense. Fortunately, with Lu Yu as her teammate, she did not have to worry about the enemy's high defense. Just as Lu Yu finished breaking through its armor for the third time, he activated his skill grappling and locked onto the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's weak spot. Lu Yu was ready to attack now. At that moment, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's body twitched, and its eyes stared at Lu Yu again. Lu Yu immediately reacted when he saw this. He realized that this dragon had already broken free from its control. The next moment, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon turned around swiftly and whipped its thick tail over. Lu Yu did not have the time to dodge and took the attack head-on. 50 Chapter 54 Powerful Skills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 54 Powerful Skills. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon swung its tail at Lu Yu's chest when it broke free from Lu Yu's control. The immense brute force hit Lu Yu's body, sending him flying backwards. He crashed heavily into the ground, creating a deep crater. Seeing this, Yunzairu panicked and hurriedly ran in Lu Yu's direction. She quickly arrived in front of Lu Yu and squatted down beside him. Lu Yu, how do you feel? I have a recovery potion here. She said that as she began to fiddle with the storage ring on her finger. Lu Yu coughed lightly and said, my defense is 220, and this guy's attack power is 330. This 100+ damage hurts, but I will recover very quickly. Lu Yu took out 2 intermediate recovery potions from his ring. One potion could recover 50 health. After taking 2 potions, he had recovered almost all of his health stats. He had obtained these potions from the loot crates he had bet on the last time. They were finally useful. The storage ring on Yunzairu's finger flickered, and 2 advanced recovery potions appeared in her hand. I don't have many advanced recovery potions with me, but I'll give you 2. You contributed the most in this battle, so these potions suit you best. Lu Yu received the advanced recovery potion that Yunzairu had given him. An intermediate recovery potion could recover 50 health, while an advanced recovery potion could recover 100 health. Moreover, there was a limit to how many potions one could take. Within an hour, a person could only drink 3 bottles of a specific grade of potion. As Lu Yu had just consumed 2 bottles of intermediate recovery potions, he could only drink 1 more bottle at most within an hour. However, he had yet to consume a single bottle of advanced recovery potion. In other words, with these 2 bottles of advanced recovery potions, Lu Yu would have 2 more chances to take the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's attack head-on. Lu Yu slowly stood up and looked at the Amethyst Toxic Dragon not far away. This beast had just gotten free of their control. Although it immediately launched a counterattack, it did not rush over to continue attacking. From the looks of it, it was afraid. Moreover, all of its armor had been broken. That was why it was acting cautiously. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon stared at Lu Yu, but it was slowly retreating. Lu Yu was a little surprised. This beast seems to be afraid. Yunzairu also looked at the Amethyst Toxic Dragon and said, it seems so. I guess it is afraid of being controlled again. Lu Yu sighed again. I didn't expect your control skills to be this strong. You can even control such a giant boss. You flatter me. Re-releasing his claws, Lu Yu charged toward the Amethyst Toxic Dragon. When the Amethyst Toxic Dragon saw Lu Yu charging toward itself, the dragon turned its head and prepared to escape. Lu Yu was a little speechless. Although this beast was enormous, its speed was not slow at all. If it really wanted to escape, there was nothing he could do. The moment the Amethyst toxic dragon turned around, it jumped up and slammed its head into the ground. The next moment, its head broke through the ground, and it started drilling into the ground. Lu Yu was a little surprised that this beast had a burrow skill. Even when Lu Yu knew that it was going to escape, he could not chase after it. Helpless, Lu Yu used his eye of truth to read the Amethyst toxic dragon stats, hoping to understand its burrow skill. Amethyst toxic dragon. Attack, 330. Speed, 320. Health. Lu Yu kept looking and found the skill panel at the bottom. He noticed that this beast had a total of 4 skills. Scale armor. By rubbing against a hard object, that object will attach itself to the surface of its body and be used to recover defense. Different materials have different recovery rates. Amethyst material recovery rate, 100%. Burrow into the ground and move quickly. Lasts for 30 seconds. Cannot be attacked while underground. Lu Yu heaved a sigh of relief after seeing the burrow skill. There were only 30 seconds left in its skill, so it shouldn't run too far. Although they could escape now, Lu Yu decided to pursue victory. His life-saving skills were still not used. It would be too cowardly to escape now. Toxic 1, Poison Spray. The poison pools in its mouth and can be sprayed out at high pressure to bind the enemy. Toxic 2, Poison Sting. The sharp tail stings contain venom. If the enemy is stabbed, the enemy will be poisoned. Poison effect. Quickly paralyzes the nerves and causes the enemy to lose their combat ability. Bite. The Amethyst toxic dragon uses its jaws to tear the enemy apart. Attacks ignore armor. Enemies' health below 30% will be killed immediately. After Lu Yu finished reading the 4 skills, he learned that each of them was very powerful. It was no wonder that Butler Lin and Shao Qing were defeated. The most powerful skill it possessed was the bite. This skill was definitely the one with the highest damage output. In the upcoming battle, Lu Yu had to be careful not to be touched by the Amethyst toxic dragon's wide jaw. Lu Yu then walked in the direction where the Amethyst toxic dragon had escaped. Yun Ziru carefully followed behind Lu Yu. She couldn't help but ask, should we continue chasing after it? Why don't we go back and ask for reinforcements? Lu Yu shook his head. The Amethyst toxic dragon's defense has already been broken. I'm confident that I can kill it. Previously, Lu Yu had used his skills but hadn't used his dragon skills. The reason was that he did not want to display his full strength, but now, it seems like he had to use his dragon skills. He had to obtain the reward of this secret realm. But unfortunately, he did not have dragon power available. So he couldn't use the terrifying dragon fist. So, he could only use dragon scales, flaming claws, and dragon muscles. He wouldn't need to waste his energy breaking through its armor if he had dragon power. He could just use dragon fist. It would be useless no matter how thick that beast's defense was. After walking a distance toward where the Amethyst toxic dragon had left, the two realized that they were already in the ruins section. There was no sign of the Amethyst toxic dragon. Lu Yu looked at the ruins in front of him and said helplessly, now it seems that we can't locate where it is. Yun Ziru also felt a little regretful. If the Amethyst toxic dragon escaped and adorned its armor again, it wouldn't be so easy to deal with next time. This high-level creature had intelligence. Next time, Yun Ziru probably wouldn't be able to control it with her eye of illusion. Let's wait for a while first. We'll probably have to retreat if that beast doesn't show up. Yun Ziru said urgently, we can first enter the teleportation portal and save my 2 teammates. Lu Yu immediately rejected her suggestion. If the Amethyst toxic dragon returns with us, it'll recover faster in its territory. It'll be difficult for us to fight it then. Hearing Lu Yu's words, Yun Ziru felt it made sense, so she didn't say anything more. At that moment, a crack suddenly appeared in an empty space in front of Lu Yu. Immediately after, the Amethyst toxic dragon broke out of the ground and charged out.